Check.
I had an order.
Okay.
Well, you did it. I check it. I turned it on. Is it working?
Okay, I'm going to reconvene the meeting from the 30-minute recess. Would everybody please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the prayer from Julie Edwards. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask just for a moment of silence in light of things that have happened in our community, in our country. We've had a lot of tragedy lately. So pray how you will, but I just think a moment of silence is necessary right now. Okay, I hope everyone had enough time and we'll get this show on the road.
Clark Hanley,
Here.
Mark Bennett, Teresa Bain, here. Tim Brown,
Here.
Carol Cole, here. Julie Edwards, here. Martha Fernhaber, present. Clay Hardy,
Here.
Doug Keenan, Annette Martin, Sean Marks, Tad Mayhall,
Here.
Keith McCormick, Tim Morse,
Here.
Lori Nelson,
Here.
Christy Otis, here. Sonny Ross,
Here.
Mitchell Sheff, Don Tate,
Here.
Brett Wallace,
Here.
Jeremy Williams. We have a quorum. In light of the absence of the vice chairman to run this meeting,
Make a motion to appoint Julie Edwards as chairman pro tem for this meeting.
Second.
all those in favor of Julie being chairman pro tem for this meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay. So Jessica, will you help me get through this?
Sure.
Okay. We'll go through it. Do we just read off the agenda? I take it, right?
Now you're going to request the approval of the minutes.
Okay, item number 3 will be the approval of minutes from September 12th, 2024.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Martha makes a motion, Laura seconds. You're right, you keep track of this right now.
Right.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, so now we'll move on to number...
Then call to vote.
Yeah, call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Microphone needs to go, yes, I'm loud anyway. Okay, number 4, County Highway Report, Highway Engineers Report, discussion and vote to approve the following items. Do you want to, Mike, do you want me to go through them one at a time and then you discuss them, or read them all and discuss them?
Maybe one at a time, but I am going to ask Chair if we could table item 4B on the agenda.
Sure. Okay. So A is resolution to demolish 0873041 and construct a new bridge on County Highway 40 also known as Greasy Road 1900 E-2 or E-2 miles south of Fancher.
I make a motion.
Okay. Second? Clay, second?
Okay. This and the other 3 resolutions, or the 2 petitions that I'll be presenting tonight are all kind of related. They are approval by the board to demolish and reconstruct structures at certain locations. This one, as she stated, is it's on the Greasy Road, County Highway 40, which is between Fancher and Beecher City. So it is a very old structure. It's an iron pony truss structure, and it is showing some signs of age, and we're wanting to get it pushed in motion so that within the next few years we can get it reconstructed before it starts having major issues. So with that, I would answer any questions.
Any questions? So do we vote for this one now, one at a time, or do we vote from all? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So number A passes. We're going to skip B, pull B, and then C is a 50-50 petition from Oconee Township Highway Commissioner to demolish and construct a new bridge, SN 0873279 on TR 285, 800 North, 3 miles north of Oconee.
I'll make a motion.
I think Brent was the first one to say.
So once again, this is just that the board approves to utilize township bridge money, as well as if there are ever any expenses beyond what the township bridge program won't pay for, that we would be able to use county bridge funds to be able to fund half of that cost. I do anticipate that this will be paid 100% by the township bridge program, which is an IDOT state program. So it is not local levied tax. It is a state program that they have for bridges. So this one and the following bridge are going to be very, very similar, and they're very similar in location. They're in the northwest corner of Oconee Township, or in the southwest corner of the county. So.
Okay. So for item C, all in favor? Say aye. Oh, wait.
Are we,
Any questions?
is this, is there a dollar amount assigned to this?
This is the agreement to demolish the structure that the county board agrees. In the future, I'm still negotiating with the consultants to work on a number for the engineering agreement. We don't have a number for the construction cost yet. So this is allowing me to set the bridge in motion. I've kind of separated it where I had been previously doing the petition and then doing the engineering agreement with it, but
So
this one I just separated.
if we pass this 50-50 petition and set it in motion and the bids come back that's out of budget, what will we do then?
You guys will be allowed to approve the engineering agreement for the dollar amount, and you guys will be allowed to approve the bid amount for the construction before we get to that.
Okay.
So you just need the okay to get things started.
I do, yes.
Thank you.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, C passes.
Okay.
And then the last one is a 50-50 petition from Oconee Township Highway Commissioner to demolish and construct a new bridge 0873053 on TR 6, 100 East, 3 miles north of Oconee.
I'll make a motion.
Martha, second.
This is very similar to the last one. It's just around the corner from the other bridge. This one is still open. The other one is actually closed. So if we do not reconstruct these bridges, I should have said earlier that there will be some homeowners that might be landlocked eventually. So I'm trying to set these in motion before we get to that point. So
Okay. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we'll move on to 5, discussion and vote to approve the use of $1,000 in ARPA funds to paint the trim in the county treasurer's office. Martha makes a motion. Rick seconds. Any discussion?
Go ahead, Seth.
I would like to make a motion to table this. I've spoke with the sheriff and the Public Safety Committee chairman, and we feel like this is part of the responsibility of that committee and the sheriff, so we would like to table this and allow that committee to do its job. So I'd like a second.
Laura? I think the discussion was too that we were kind of going to see what all areas throughout the courthouse needed, so we can just do it or all at once rather than one at a time.
Tabling this is not a, we're not going to do it.
Right.
Tabling this is we want to do it for all the offices.
One time rather than a bunch of different times. Okay, so all in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we will table number 5. Number 6, discussion and vote to task the legislative committee to create a policy to remedy audit findings 2022-001 through 2022-006 with 90 days to develop policy and implementation in 30 days of passage by the full board upon recommendation by the Budget Committee.
I make the motion.
Martha. Second. I'll second, just for discussion, because I had a question about this one myself. Anybody have? Go ahead.
My question is, does the legislative committee need charge from the full board to do its responsibility?
Well, I'm wondering, I like the idea that there's a time frame involved in it. As someone on the legislative committee, I've kind of learned that,
Yeah, what are we going to do when you don't meet the deadline?
well, the idea is that we do.
And I'm just curious if we need full board action for the legislative committee to just do its job.
Do you have an opinion on that?
I don't right now. I'm not entirely sure, and I have to do some research as to where these proposed policies should be coming from, if they should come from the legislative committee versus somewhere else. But I'm happy to look into that and get back to you.
Okay, so should this be, I mean, as much as I hate to table things, another thing that we table?
I totally disagree with tabling. We have got to get these audit findings addressed and taken care of. Previous boards have kicked that can down the road over and over and over again. I think this is more just transparency, Sonny, and just getting it out there that this is, I mean, it is a function of the legislative committee. The legislative committee sets the policy, and this is just as, you know, if nothing else, put the onus on the legislative committee to not kick the can down the road and get this done. And it's saying once legislative committee gets it done, be it in 90 days or less, but no more than 90 days, that then within 30 days of passage by the full board, it'll be implemented within 30 days of that. But I think tabling this and kicking that can down the road even further than it's already been kicked makes no sense, in my opinion.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, Tad?
So with this, we're charging a committee that's not met in 2 months to accomplish something in 90 days, of which we don't even know what that committee looks like 60 days from now. So we're charging a committee that may have a totally different construct and makeup in that time frame, correct? Right, because you swear a new board in December. And so the makeup of that committee is unknown. And so, provided legislative gets together in between now and November's meeting, so they've started the ball, but then you have a different committee possibly after that, held to a 90-day standard, of which 30 days they're not even going to likely be formed fully at that point. So while I don't disagree with the concept, I don't see where the execution can be accomplished in the time frame.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm absolutely in 100% agreement that the legislative committee should take this up. And I would like to see it in 30, not 90. I'm in 100% agreement that these audit findings need to be addressed immediately. I'm fully in favor of that. Where I dissent is the full board charging something to a committee that should already be in their purview. That's my only dissent. I agree wholeheartedly with everything, all the premise of the agenda item. I'm just not sure we want to go down that rabbit hole of tasking committees with something that they're already charged with.
Yeah. I mean, my only thing is, I see where Martha's coming from in that we need to get this going, because I'm not in favor of delaying things, but then we may start out with 6 people and have 6 people, different people finishing it, so.
Well, we're certainly not telling the legislative committee not to do this.
Oh,
I mean, this is not saying thou shalt not do this. What I'm saying is it our place to demand that they do it. I think wholeheartedly that they should take it up and that they should do it, and they should meet sooner than later. The state's attorney has her hand up.
Oh, sorry, that's fine, thank you. And I guess just to kind of respond to some of that, it's my understanding the legislative committee should be making recommendations as to how to address these issues, but they don't necessarily set the policy. It still has to come back to the board to implement those recommendations. So I tend to agree, you know, I don't have statutory authority for it tonight, but I tend to agree that this is something they should already be doing and already be working towards, as opposed to, you know, ordering them at the timeline to get it done.
there's no barrier preventing us from starting it.
Not that I know of, yeah.
So what's the motion, to table or not to table?
I think with the conversation that we've had, if you'll call a roll call vote, you'll find that this agenda item will be struck down and give the legislative committee the freedom that it needs to do the job that it's been charged with. I would encourage a no vote on the agenda item solely because of the reasoning of constraining the legislative committee in a way that we don't typically constrain other committees.
Okay. So let's do we need to do a roll call vote?
I don't think so.
Let's just do a yay, nay vote. So all in favor of tasking the legislative committee to create a policy? Do I have to read the whole thing?
No.
Oh, okay. Say aye.
Aye.
So that was Martha and Tim and Clark. Anybody else? Okay. All right.
And not in favor, same sign?
Aye.
Aye. I think we can just do it. So 6 fails. Okay. Did we get through the whole agenda already? Okay, sorry. All right. Committee reports. Lori?
I'll go after if there are other committees, but if other committees need to speak, I can read them.
Oh, if you're speaking for a committee, go ahead.
Not exactly. A constituent who is listed on this, let me start. There is a Decennial Committees on Local Government Efficiency Act. It's a policy, public policy now, and he made a copy of the thing that he got in his training. They are required to fill out a government efficiency report, and they each have a certain deadline to turn it into the county board. So I have this from my district. It is every 10 years, but it talks about each district is going to have like an airport authority, cemetery maintenance district, local libraries, mass transit, mosquito abatement districts, park districts, public health districts, public water, rescue squad, there's 15 or 20. So each board member now may be receiving reports from their districts. In the future, they should be expecting them because we're in the 10-year cycle, but there's no directed person to, I guess, we give them to the clerk. And we are charged as county board members to evaluate and proceed as the law states. So if you're not hearing from them, and I will send the link to this list to the board, make sure Jessica has it in case anybody has questions. But expect them, and then we'll need to make sure that they all get turned in, because as a county board, we do have a responsibility to respond. And it's the Decennial Committees on Local Government Efficiency Act. But I don't know that there's a committee to look at them. So I don't know what committee that's going to be today or in the future.
Do the representatives from those districts look at it?
They have to submit them.
It was already done and sent to me, and I just said I would get it to the board. It's supposed to come to us, and we should have a committee to take care of them. But we don't have one. I don't know what committee that would be at this point. I'll forward the information. Thank you.
Road and Bridge Committee. A year ago, I think it was November 2nd, those of us on the committee had a cookout for the workers at the highway department. And it was a big hit. It went over really well. And again, a year ago afterwards, I made a presentation here that I explained we'd be doing this again a year from now, which that's rolling around. And also stated that we would be inviting everybody on the board to come out and participate in the cookout as well. So that's going to be November 1st, and that's a Friday. The guys like to eat about 11:30, so feel free to show up at 11, 10:30, earlier if you like, and talk to the workers, get to know them. When I discussed this a year ago, the Open Meetings Act was discussed a little bit. I was actually encouraged to read the Open Meetings Act, which I did. And the Open Meetings Act does clearly state that we are not prohibited from having a social gathering. However, I would advise that we think about what we're talking about, not discuss a lot of business, not encourage any voting. Just keep the Open Meetings Act in mind while we meet out there. And lastly, if you could email me if you're coming or not, that would help. We'll know how many or how much food to have available. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Not chairman. Officially.
Well, I almost said Mr.
It's like a
Chairman.
temporary person sitting up here. Tad, did you have something for public safety? Were you going to?
I'll probably defer to next month.
Okay.
And bring the rest of that.
Okay.
Carol had her hand up.
Oh, sorry.
The Balloon Fest is at the airport this weekend, and they have a lot of activities planned for the kids. Go out and watch the balloons, and I think it's at the winery on Friday night, but the airport is Saturday. Go out and support the airport and all the balloons.
Can we do 9 without an official chairman?
You're the chairman for
Yeah. Well, be careful. Can I mean, will we
I mean,
be
you
okay
could-
if we
you-
appoint these people?
I mean, the zoning board of appeals has been 2 members short for eons. I don't know why it would hurt to delay if you don't feel comfortable, or you could make the appointment.
Scott talked to us in the finance committee meeting, and he said he really needs these people appointed.
Yeah.
So we
This-
really need to
Okay.
make these appointments tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, these have been kicked down the road several times.
Okay. So Doug Uphoff of Oak Township to the zoning board of appeals, all in favor?
Motion.
Oh,
I'll make the motion.
I think Tim
I'm sorry, second.
and Martha. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then we'll move on to Don Hennings Jr. of Shelbyville Township. Oh, am I saying it right? Do I need to make a motion? Okay. Carol? Carol made the motion. John Tate seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so those two appointments are made. 10 correspondence. 11 old business. Anybody with old business?
I have a question. So did we get the final audit the other day?
I believe that email was sent out, the final audit
So
was sent
that's
out.
the final audit. There are not going to be any more changes, is that right?
We voted on it, there shouldn't be any more changes.
No, we voted on the draft.
Well, it's a draft until it's voted on, then it becomes a final document.
Okay. Because there was a change on page 41 of the new audit that we just got. And is that allowable, I guess?
Was it the change that he handed out last week? Because he handed out a new page 41.
And there was a new 41 on this audit. I have them if you. It changed. This is the one that he gave us last month, and this is the one that was on the audit we just got.
Because you're the chairman.
Government funds beginning. So the sentence, reclassification of fund balance for the Department of Tourism, is that what's been added?
And the last numbers on the last, what I have highlighted.
I was reinstated from. Didn't he discuss that? The difference in the numbers, that there would be a difference in the numbers?
I thought so.
And it's just a question for me.
No, yeah, but I think he discussed that that they were going to subtract
Yeah.
something.
I think this is what, I don't know that all that was going to, but I know that, but I thought it was up here that was going to be different.
The county has several agreements. That seems to be the same. So it looks like it's here. And I remember we did math,
Right.
and I think that's where that number came, where we got that number.
I think that that's what they, I think that that's what.
Yeah.
So,
I think then that this 41, this one, is part of the final draft.
Yeah, I wrote final.
Yeah.
The other one is the draft.
Yeah. But I think that when Bobby, we discussed that when he was talking about how he added the page, I think we changed those numbers, or we discussed those numbers. Are you hammering, gaveling?
No, ma'am, I
disrupting?
set my phone down, I apologize.
So Carol, did you have anything else?
No, man.
Okay. ARPA fund update? Okay, I don't know if I have an answer, but we'll bring it up.
Okay, so we really need to know how much money we have in the ARPA fund, okay? Because we have like 60 days to spend this money. So I have one page that says through 7/10/2024. I don't remember when this was, I got it off of the website under the ARPA. And it says we have $1,117,641.95 remaining. The one that we just received last week from the treasurer has the same date on it through 7/10/2024, and it says we have $1,341,910.40 remaining. So we need to know exactly how much money we have. So it went from we had $1,000,001, now we have $1,000,003.
Did you ask the treasurer that?
I sent a message, but I don't have my email on my phone, so I don't know if she answered me or not.
Okay. I mean, I agree, we probably do need to know the balance, and probably the easiest way to get it would be to email Erica and ask for
And I
it.
think we need a balance by, this month, because we don't have that much time to spend. We need to know exactly how much we can appropriate for all the other.
She's pretty quick to respond, so I imagine if you email her.
So the report went out to the full board, and it's got the spreadsheet that says remaining uncommitted balance, $1,341, sorry, $1,341,910 and 40 cents. Remaining uncommitted amount. That is what's in the email that we all received on 10/1. Went out to the full
Oh,
board.
Martha, there it is. Did that give you an answer?
Not really. Because they both say expenditures through 7/10/2024, and they have different remaining balances uncommitted.
Well, the spreadsheet that she sent us says remaining uncommitted funds. I would think that, is that the 1,000,003 that you were talking about?
I think the question is how we have a $200,000 increase with the same date.
Okay.
You want to look at those? I mean, I'll give it to you, Julie.
No, it's not, my iPad locked up and I can't see
Okay,
on my
no,
phone.
I'm just
It's not
concerned
big.
because they both have the same date here. How can it have the same date?
Okay, so the same date. Let me write this down.
Here you go.
And I'll just send Erica an email in the
How much you
morning.
would really have, that's what we need to know.
Okay, I'll send Erica an email in the morning, and then when she gets back to me, I'll have her send it to the whole board. Okay, thank you. Any other things with the ARPA funds? Okay. Approval of claims.
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Chad made the motion, Don second. That's a roll call vote, correct? Do I need to say? Oh, any discussion?
I did have one question, and I think you can answer it, hopefully, for us. The EMA office has a 15-month lease fee of $37.50.
The board approved that.
Where the question is, not about the fee or anything, the question is, the contract says $250 a month. We're paying what appears to be a full 15 months. Has that been in consideration given the overlap in budgets? So there's not going to be an issue, or
Right, because they had it actually starting
September 1?
September 1, and I told them, I said, our fiscal year has changed, so that's why they did a 15-month contract to cover the whole next fiscal year.
So then that's
So
one
it'll
of,
go till 11/30/2025.
that's one of those last holdovers
Right,
that
yeah.
will, okay.
Yeah.
That's, we were trying to decide if we should pay $250 or $750 or $37.50. We approved the full amount, hoping that was the correct thing to do. Okay, thank you.
Martha?
I'm just going to add a comment. We had multiple department credit cards that have late fees. So I don't know how we can work with the credit card company to understand our process, maybe change a billing cycle to a different end date, but it's an issue for every credit card. So you'll see that in the meeting minutes, but just to look into that to see what we can do to avoid $30 fees on multiple cards per month.
Can they just call and request a different date, a pay date?
It's a discussion that needs to be had, I just don't know who needs to have it, and I don't know if each individual department has it. It only makes sense if they're all with the same bank, and the credit card policy is written with the county clerk's office and the treasurer's office having various responsibilities within that, so I don't know where that falls, but I just think it's a conversation worth having, because $30 on multiple cards, adding up month after month, does
I would think
eventually.
whoever submits the bill, like whoever holds the card, would probably have to call and request a new date.
The cards aren't in, I don't think they're in individual people's names.
Sure, but if they're submitting the bill, they could, I mean, I don't know, whatever is easiest for department
I know
heads.
that there's several departments that have their own. I imagine they would have to call.
You'll just see those notes on the meeting minute.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, roll call.
Amling,
Yes.
Bain,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Edwards,
Yes.
Fernhaber,
Yes.
Hardy,
Yes.
Mayhaw,
Yes.
Morse,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Otis,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Wallace. Motion passes unanimously.
Is there a sheet out there?
There is. Shay, here's your timer.
I don't have a gavel, so.
Oh, you got names on there.
Huh?
You got names on
Yeah, lots of names. Okay, I have to figure out how.
Okay, you're gonna,
Minutes?
no, it was set.
Okay, I got it.
It was.
Well, I can stop it.
Okay, so yeah, and then just hit memory, and it should go back to 5.
Okay.
So just,
Okay, wait a second. Okay, so we do have people on the list. Don Mayo. Just a reminder, you have 5 minutes, cannot yield your time to anyone else.
That's better than some of the others. Others have been 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'll take the 5. I'll try not to use it all. My name is Don Mayo. I've been a resident of Illinois for 45 years. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and non-official spokesperson. Today I come to you as a concerned citizen of the state of Illinois, sharing alarming information about our state's voters database uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by our highly qualified, credentialed data team. Today we'll present you with a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty of our elections, along with a summary of our findings and the laws that apply. Just like your checkbook must bounce, so must our votes. If you had $10,000 fewer in your bank account than you had deposited, you would certainly want to know what happened. If a company had a significant a discrepancy in their books, they would most certainly conduct an audit. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election using official data provided by the state election officials shows that 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We're not saying one candidate won over another or that any election should be overturned. The state's official data from the certified election shows that the votes as counted were not valid and accurate under the law. Today we come to you as some of our closest elected representatives for support and action. Visit our website at unitedforfreedom.com. That's unite and the number 4 freedom.com for additional information.
Thank you. Well, memory didn't work, Jessica, but let's do it. I think I can figure it out. Okay. Tim Hargrove?
My name is Tim Hargrove, and I live in Sangamon County, and I've been a resident of Illinois for 27 years. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesman. We present to you a resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. Whereas it is a recognized civil right in the United States for every citizen to have free and fair elections. In 1964, the U.S. Supreme Court in Reynolds versus Sims wrote, and I quote, "And the right of suffrage can be denied by debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise. Whereas it is the affirmative duty of our election officials to comply with all federal and state laws governing administration and procedure of our elections, thereby guaranteeing our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation." The U.S. Supreme Court in 1988 in Recoy wrote, quote, "Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty devolved upon him while so engaged. The evil intent consists in disobedience to the law," end quote. Whereas our constitutional system of representative government only works when the worth of honest ballots is not diluted by invalid ballots procured by corruption, and assuming accuracy can only be achieved through faithfulness to those laws governing the following four tenets of an election. Tenet number 1, the voter rolls must be accurate. That's based on the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. Tenet number 2, votes must be from eligible voters, and that's based on the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Tenet number 3, the number of votes counted must equal the number of votes who voted. Tenet number 4, there can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. And that's based on the Help America Vote Act from 2002. Thank you.
Okay, so we have Babe.
Yes, Poxtus is my last name.
Okay, wasn't even gonna try it.
Okay, I know.
Good enough for Babe.
My maiden name was a lot easier. My name is Babe Poxtus, and I am a lifelong resident of Cook County. I am a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans, and I'm not an official spokesperson. So I will continue with the resolution. Whereas an open source audit of the Illinois 2022 general election conducted by Illinois state citizens has uncovered evidence of massive inaccuracies that violate both federal and state laws, including 4,032,801 ineligible or uncertain registration violations found within the Illinois State Voter Roll database. Again, that was 4,032,801. 589,985 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrations. 27,491 more votes counted than voters who voted in the 2022 general election. No one knows who cast them. 589,952 apparent voting violations in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for a valid federal election. For the 2022 election in Illinois, this number of legally allowed violations was 33, but we had 589,985. Certification as defined by law, an attestation of accuracy and compliance, appears to have been fraudulent and illegal. Whereas these findings trample accuracy requirements of voting systems for a federal election. For a voting system, accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture, record, store, consolidate, and report the specific selections, and absence of selections made by the voter for each ballot position without error. Whereas it must be known factually and provably that the intent of the voters is accurately represented by election results before certification can be lawfully conducted. Certification of an election that varies from the law is an abridgment of the civil rights of the citizens, a fraud ab initio, and that is from United States versus Throckmorton, 98 U.S. 61 from 1878. Whereas Illinois' 2022 general election appears to have been invalid, depriving us of the guaranteed protection of our natural rights under a government duly and provably chosen by us, the American people, resulting in incalculable damage to our families, our way of life, and the fabric of these United States. Thanks.
Thank you. Joe Bridge,
That's me.
got that one.
Hi. Well, my name is Joe Bridge. I live in Tazewell County, up around Peoria. I've been a resident of Illinois for 58 years, and I'm going to continue with our resolution. Therefore, we call upon our representatives to provide relief to the people and the assurance of the domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable principles of law. Number one, proof of citizenship, identity, and eligibility to register and vote, not anonymous attestation. Number two, voter rolls certified, accurate, and available for public review and challenge 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and address in person to a qualified official at each polling place. Number three, hand-marked secure ballots similar to currency, where imaging technology is used for tabulation. The security features must be verifiable in the ballot image. Number four, systems, machines, security measures, infrastructure, and conduct are required to be compliant with federal law for fraud prevention regarding risk assessment, certification, testing, and implementation. Number five, adjudication must be signed off by party candidate and trained citizen witnesses after being given full and effective observation rights. Candidates and trained citizens must be allowed immediate access to the ballots, ballot images, and CVRs. Number six, ballots regardless of entry source, election operations, and systems must maintain end-to-end chain of custody from voter to vote count to final canvass, including auditability and witness transfer with paper records. Number seven, a NIST-compliant randomized statistically valid end-to-end audit with a 95% confidence level of all elections pursuant to the 14th Amendment, Section 2 must be performed. These audits are to be conducted by qualified, insured, and bonded security, forensics, or financial auditors, not personnel from within the election system. Reconciliation will include the vote count, real physical ballots, adjudication, CVRs, ballot count, qualified voter count, custody transfer, and all other paper and electronic election systems, including logs. Number eight, if the total of all unique variances above is more than 10% of the margin of victory, a new election must be held in the state for those candidates affected, unless the issues can be provably corrected by a manual hand count and a full review of records. And number nine, waiver of requirements is not allowed. Only end-to-end system compliance from registration through certification guarantee the intent of the people is accurately recorded. Thank you.
Thank you. Dean Barker.
Hi, my name is Dean Barker. I live in Winnebago County, and I have been a resident of Illinois for 66 years. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. I will conclude the resolution. This concludes our powerfully written resolution outlining the massive inaccuracies of our 2022 election from registration to certification. In it, you heard us ask for meaningful remedies provided to proactively protect the validity of the next 2024 general election. In fact, the resolution cited many U.S. Supreme Court precedents that support the need for such actions. The laws are being ignored. The bottom line, the checkbook is not balancing. We need certainty. The voter system, which controls our most vitally important right, the right of suffrage, is not capable of producing an accurate, trustworthy result. Do you think that these anomalies within our election system, which are part of our national security infrastructure, should continue to be ignored? How much is it costing us not to fix the problem? How much is it costing our GDP, our military, our foreign policy, our health, the self-esteem of our children and young people, and how much is it costing our dignity to keep fighting each other? The cost is immeasurable, so I urge you to show your agreement by passing the resolution. Our website showcasing our initiatives nationwide has some great videos that explain the anomalies and apparent violations of the law that are found here in this state as well as other states. The website is uniteforfreedom.com. That's the word unite, the number 4, freedom.com. I encourage you to check it out and learn more about our group. So what you heard tonight is the accumulation of thousands of hours of work by our highly qualified, credentialed, volunteer data teams from this state and across the country. Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. High numbers of Americans, including many right here in this county, have questions about the trustworthiness of our elections. I think we can all agree we wish this was not the case. But official data shows that these concerns are valid, and the law says they are important in securing our liberty. At the same time, government representatives at all levels are not being transparent or responsive to what our citizen audits have found. Our right to vote for our elected representatives is legally valid, and transparent elections is the foundation for our constitutional federal republic was established. That right has been bravely protected over the past 2.5 centuries by sacrifices of our brothers, fathers, mothers, sisters, and some of us are children. You on this board tonight have a chance to show everyone defending American liberty and citizens that you represent that you value also by passing a resolution for a valid 2024 election. Please invite us back to be on your agenda if you would like further information to pass this resolution. We appreciate your commitment to the constituents of this county as well as the time and attention given us tonight. I thank you for that. And I have the transcript and 2 copies and contact information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Next is Jared Stuckmeyer. Hi.
My name is Jared Stuckmeyer, lifetime Illinois resident. I don't know if it's hard to say, but I said it anyway. I would just like to share an email that I sent out to several of the board members in regards to requesting funding for school resource officers in all Shelby County schools. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing you as a concerned member of the Shelby County community and a strong advocate for the safety and well-being of our students. I'm reaching out to request your support in increasing funding to the Sheriff's Department for a School Resource Officer, or SRO program in our county. This incredible program aims to foster a safer community in our schools, which is just one aspect of the SRO initiative. Additionally, it can help cultivate positive relationships between students, the community, and law enforcement officials by acting as mentors and role models. SROs can also serve as a valuable educational resource within our schools. While students are already learning so much, SROs can enhance their knowledge on crucial topics such as drug prevention and awareness, internet safety, and conflict resolution. Furthermore, they play a vital role in crisis intervention and providing support to students facing challenges. I have contacted Sheriff McReynolds, who mentioned that he lacks the necessary staffing and funding to support such a program. I am reaching out to seek your perspective on this initiative, whether there are funds available to allocate to the Sheriff's Department. Additionally, I would like to mention that I'm exploring federal and state grants to assist with this initial and ongoing cost of this valuable program. As someone who works in the Effingham County School I have witnessed the positive impact that a school resource officer can have in our educational environment. Investing in an SRO program is investing in the future of Shelby County. It will help create a safer, more supportive environment for our students, allowing them to focus on their education, personal development. Furthermore, it will strengthen the bond between our schools and law enforcement, fostering a community built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. I kindly ask that you consider this request and support the funding of the SRO program. Your commitment to safety and well-being of our students is greatly appreciated, and I am confident that together we can have and make a significant impact on our community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Jared, do you have a date when you sent that email?
I sent that email 9/14. I didn't send it to everyone.
Okay.
My kids do go to Cowden Herrick, so I just sent it to the chair, co-chair, and all of the representatives of the Cowden Herrick, because I figured they would be the ones to want to go back for.
Any chance you could maybe send it to, sorry Jessica, the clerk, and she could forward it to the full board for anybody who's interested in reading the email?
Absolutely. So send it to
Please.
Jessica Fox.
Sorry, Jessica.
Yes, I will absolutely do that.
Okay, thank you. Public comment? Jake?
It was my birthday today, so I think I'll give my opinion on a couple things. You already know most of them. We had some experience with the Edward County Watchdogs. Before they ever came here, they attacked one of our really good friends in Online, Illinois. Tried to destroy him for 2 years. They accused him of stealing the church and the library. Of course, no one ever proved anything, and all they did was make his life miserable. We had another friend. I think they may have destroyed her husband where he had a heart attack. I don't know. It was kind of pitiful. So Carol and I, the first meeting we came to was at the park because we didn't like the idea of selling the farm. So when we went to that meeting, here's a couple of different people saying the board members might be sued if they voted a certain way. I thought, these people are telling that and people are believing them. You can't sue a board member for voting a certain way. So now they're calling my family liars. They're calling me a liar, Bill a liar. They're making all kinds of accusations, but they can't prove anything. To me, there's nothing important about them. There's nothing good about them. I don't really care for them, and they probably don't care for me. But I think what they're trying to do here is destroy our community, and I don't think we need to let that happen. The county farm is our farm. It's not their farm. It's not Bobby's farm. It's not anyone's farm. It's the county farm. And they don't have any reason to sell it just because the state representative wants it. So I think it's pretty pitiful that we've had to sit here for 3 years and listen to all this crap with no proof. In my opinion, until they can prove something, there's just a big bag of wind. That's what I got.
Public comment? Sharon?
I have a question regarding item number 6 about the audit. And I know it failed, but I guess my question is, does that mean no work is going to be done to try to make remedies to the audit? Because a new board will come in December, then they won't be able to do anything because it's December and nobody knows anything, then it'll be January. So what did you accomplish on 6? I missed the whole.
I think the intent was of 6, and if I'm wrong, let me know. I believe the intent was, the legislative committee does not need the vote or the backing of the board to go ahead and do legislative action.
Okay.
Myself, Martha, Jeremy, and who else is on that committee? Doug. Yeah. We can get together and work on that, and hopefully, I mean, I plan to send Jeremy an email saying that we need to make sure in November we meet, so we can at least identify the issues that we need to start working on, and then that way, if it goes over into the next group of elected officials, and then Maybe we haven't got the groundwork laid yet, but we've at least identified the issues that we need to work on.
Thank you, I get confused.
Okay. Public comment? Trish?
Really quick, I want to thank Tim Morse for the last meeting when they discussed removal of the board chair. There was no discussion. It's been how it's been every meeting, you vote in lockstep. I see very little free thought from a lot of you. And I agree with Mr. Cole. We have people from other counties coming onto private pages, which if they could get on their page and comment, they're free to do so. There is the block button. But why is that? A public advocacy group that's supposed to remain neutral. And I saw a comment that was really interesting, and it was about, I believe it was our audits had to be turned into the office of Springfield. And it showed for, from 22 on, no audits turned in. And one of the comments was, why is that the treasurer's fault? Why is it not the board's fault? Well, if that is the case, this came from a public advocacy member, then why weren't those drafts sent to the board so they could view those drafts and have input? So he basically corroborated what the board was trying to say. We did not have the drafts. And he said it wasn't the treasurer's responsibility, it was the board's. I believe that's how it was worded. But if the board doesn't have the information to do their job, then they can't. But I guess they really don't need the information because it's been lockstep. Very little questions. I don't believe I've heard Mr. Amling ask one question since he's been on the board. I don't believe that I've heard hardly anyone ask a question because everyone seems to come in and know exactly what they're going to do. You have a certain group that continues to talk, but the rest of the people have been pretty silent. And I think that that's become very apparent to the people in the public, what's been happening. Tim Morse made a stand at the last meeting and put to remove the board chair on there. There was no discussion. Where's our board chair tonight? Is it true that he resigned? Can anyone answer that question?
I mean, I'm sure.
I've heard that. Has anyone?
We've received an email with his resignation tonight.
Yes, and not one of you during that discussion said a word. Why would we want to remove him as chair, any of that? But this month, he's not here. He's not here. I remember once because I said I was a free thinker, I was called a liberal for being a free thinker, for thinking for myself. I think there's a case of you followed the wrong leader and you put your eggs in the wrong basket. And you've got to be careful what basket you put your eggs in. I'm wishing everybody good luck in the future because I hope the future gets much better. Thank you.
Public comment?
I'd like to know why the credit cards aren't getting paid on time. There's no reason.
It's not that they're not being paid on time. The billing cycle does not coincide.
Yeah,
I believe the billing cycle does not coincide with when the committee meets to approve to pay the bills. So it's going to have to be a matter of somebody calling and changing the billing cycle.
Change the meeting time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
because if that's their billing cycle, that's their billing cycle. You're gonna have fun trying to change that. But now, how many times has this happened? I mean, that's extra money that's wasted. I don't know. It's just curiosity.
It's been happening since probably the county's had credit cards issued.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, it's not a new thing. It's just it's something that needs to be done, and somebody needs to figure out who needs to do it.
And for these people over here, I just want to tell you that a couple of us in here took the election judges class, and it seems like it's pretty secure. So I mean, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna volunteer, Martha, Ben, we were all there. And from what I didn't see any insecurities. You can't do anything unless a Democrat and Republican do it together.
Madam
So,
Chair, she's to be addressing the
nothing's-
board, not the public.
Yeah, I mean, I've got their website if you want to, I can get it to you, so if you want to contact them directly. Public comment?
I just, quick comment on the billing cycle. I will say that I did see this issue come up in my office as well with our equipment lease issues, and we were able to pull the company and have the change to coincide. So hopefully the departments will be able to do that with credit cards as well.
Yeah, I think they would probably,
It was a very simple phone call process.
When Mr. Mayhall and I and Martha first sat in those meetings, Mr. Tate, I don't know how many bills were off cycle, and we have worked for 2 years, and we have continually worked for the past 2 years to get these bills on cycle to remedy this, and every once in a while it seems invariable that one will slip through the cracks. So there are efforts to correct that issue.
Yeah.
Tim?
What's going to happen with the budget? Since Mr. Orman's gone, he was the chair of the budget committee, and that needs to be worked on.
That is a question I cannot answer at this time. But it definitely deserves an answer.
Who can give the answer?
Since we just found this news out today, I'm not sure we're prepared to, I mean, that's going to have to be something that we discuss as a board, I believe. Or at least the budget committee is going to have to appoint a new, or talk about a new chair.
chairperson appoints the people.
No, and it's in our rules that the chair is the chairman of the budget committee.
Yeah.
I think some of us have been asking about the budget for the last, at least one board meeting, maybe 2 board meetings. And I think that the comment was made that he was going to get with the department heads and schedule these meetings. I don't think that any department head has heard from him.
Does anybody want to tackle that?
Mr. Mayhall has his hand up.
Kevin?
I did speak with the clerk not long ago to ask if there's ever been a period in history where maybe a budget wasn't lined up, right? So we didn't go into a fiscal year, and she says that has happened, right? And so there is leeway to work with that. If we get to that point, right, to where they continue working off previous budget numbers, so you stay within your previous numbers, essentially working forward with the federal government, right? And just pass forward until you get your budget passed. But I mean, it's going to take some quick order to make that happen for sure.
Okay.
Likewise, I am concerned that bargaining has not been ongoing, at least not in good faith, with the representative. So that's something the board needs to think about and talk about and figure out what they're going to do, because it was Jeremy as head of the legislative committee as well as Bobby. Without Bobby here now, I don't know that those union negotiations are going forward at this time.
Well, with the exception, and the sheriff and I have worked, we've got an agreement for
Absolutely, yeah.
FOP, so.
Yeah.
Maybe I can, I'm off tomorrow, maybe I can get with you and we can see what all needs to be done. Okay. Okay.
We are not technically without a chairman. Mr. Bennett assumes the role automatically in the absence of Mr. Orman, so many of these questions are going to fall at his doorstep.
Public comment? Oh, sorry.
I just would like to publicly thank Bobby Orman for his service to the board, to the county. He's put in, what, at least 6 years? At at least 6 years. He sacrificed time with his family, he worked hard, he did his due diligence, he studied. I know anytime I called Bobby and asked a question and needed guidance as a new member of this board, he was more than happy to answer questions and to assist and to point me in the right direction. Bobby Orman is a good man. I think he suffered some verbal abuse and attacks that were unnecessary and uncalled for, and certainly not warranted. So I just want to publicly thank Bobby for his time and his service to the various boards he served on and to this county. I know Bobby Orman cared about the taxpayers deeply, and I know I only have another month on the board, but he'll be missed in that time. Thank you.
Agree or disagree, I think, he deserves a thank. Clay?
Yes. Thank you, folks, for coming and talking about the election. I do think we have good, fair elections in this county. I really do. I've looked into it myself, and I do. But the Constitution is very important, and I think it's something that we are losing contact with. And so, I think we got information overload. When the people want you to read the Constitution, it's dry and it's hard reading, for somebody like me, anyway. I don't know about the rest of you. So I like to take it real slow and simple. This is just the Declaration of Rights, or the Declaration of Independence. Yes, and it says, "We hold these truths." That's truths. That's not opinions. Okay. And it says to be self-evident. That means you ought to be able to figure it out for yourself. Okay? That all men are created equal. It's created. They didn't evolve. And that they are endowed by their Creator. Put a capital C there. And they even mention the Creator at the very end of this document. It says, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. That means nobody can take them away from you. Certain inalienable rights, those among those that are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Life is the very first inalienable right. That's a God-given right that everybody in the world should get. And it's part of our constitutional rights too. But we got, 8 or 9 states that are trying to figure out whether they want to allow this now. It's really, think about that for just a moment. Where is that going to go when we decide, there is not a right to life? And then life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Where else are you going to enjoy your happiness than on your private property? That's the thing about this country that makes it great, is private property. Certainly inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, so also the preamble of the Constitution says, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote general welfare. You think about what's going on in this country with people crossing our borders and the things that's going on in this country, and the rest of it, we're all worried about this county. This county is going to sink with the country. We don't get a handle on this. This stuff of people crossing our borders and then looking a blind eye is ridiculous. Okay. Provide for the common defense. Promote the general welfare. Secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Our kids, what are we going to leave them if we continue this breach of our border and some of the things that they're teaching? Here's the first. This is so interesting to me. The very first Webster's Dictionary, 1828 dictionary. When he made this dictionary, it took him 20 years, and he learned 24 languages in the process, because he had to learn the derivation of these words. And he defined 70,000 words in this dictionary. 30,000 more that was ever defined in the English language before that time. And he says this politics is the science of government, that part of ethics which consists in the regulation of government of a nation or state, for the preservation of its safety, peace, and prosperity, comprehending the defense of its existence and rights against foreign conquest or control. Think about the foreign conquest we have going on now and the foreign control that we're allowing to be given away here. And the augmentation of its strength and resources. The resources. Imagine how much of our oil have we let, we're using our oil reserves? Who's the boss on that one? Remember that? Okay, the strength of its resources and the protection of its citizens in their rights. There's been a lot of people's rights being violated. And it says, with the preservation and improvement of their morals. And think about what they're teaching our kids in some of these schools and some of the stuff that they're putting out there. Now, if you think that this guy that's in charge right now of the White House, if you think he's doing a good job, you better think twice.
That was kind of wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't speak like that when you're on the board about this guy in the White House. You're on the board.
It's public comment. He's part of public.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Public comment? Public comment?
Name his name if they want it.
Chad?
Yeah, no, I just want to thank everybody for their patience for our 30-minute recess earlier. It meant a lot to the family. It means a lot to me. So thank you for your patience for most of you. Thank you.
Public comment? Mark?
Julie, I just want to thank you for running the meeting with decorum and dignity.
Well, it's my
Appreciate
first
that. I did have one question. You did allude to an email from Mr. Orman. There wasn't anything covered in correspondence. I know you don't have to share everything in correspondence, but that's kind of an important event. Is that something that the board's willing to share with the public, or are we drawing?
It was just basically a simple resignation email that was sent out this afternoon. It says professional agencies are important to the sound management of our local government. Insurance, HR, audits, and other agencies in the like are crucial to mitigating risks of the taxpayers. Unfortunately, what I have witnessed is a gross disregard of board policy that was developed by recommendation of those professional agencies. I do not wish to be a part of this any longer or in the future. Please give my resignation from the board. Please give notice of my resignation from the board, effective immediately. Respectfully, Robert Orman. And again, agree or disagree, he did serve the county, so I appreciate that. Mark, were you finished? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
thank you. There's
Alex?
one more correspondence or communication, and there was the court order given, right?
I'm sorry?
Court order? Was there a court order given
I'm not aware of anything.
about farming or something?
I think that was sent to the full board, just as a, let's see. I think an injunction was filed to prevent us from opening any bids tonight that we received for the sale of the farm.
That was sent to the full board. I just want to make sure the full board was aware of that.
I think we got something about it. Sorry, scrolling through all these
No, you're
emails
fine.
is hard in front of everyone. It's public information, so I'm sure if somebody wants it, they can have it. Public comment? Public comment? Public comment?
I move to adjourn.
Lori motions to adjourn, Carol seconds. All in favor?
Yes.
Yay. Survived and proceeded. You too. Pitchforks and flying arrows. I got it.